this prediction has been so impossibly difficult to make because it is genuinely a 50-50. But I am going to make a prediction, and the box that I think is going to win this fight is... Hello everyone, welcome back to A Guy Called Henry. Guys, before we get started on this one, I want to tell you about something I've been working on. So, I've been having some really cool conversations on this channel. There's so many cool new subscribers. I've been getting in the comments section and mixing with some of you, and it just got me thinking I'd really love to find a way to build more of a community here. And there's only so much you can do with the YouTube comments section. So what I've done is I've gone and I've made a Discord server. And the goal of it really is to just build a really cool boxing community. Somewhere where, you know, people can feel free to exchange ideas, make mistakes, because often, you know, someone expresses an opinion or they're like, oh, what about this or what about that? And, you know, people are like, you're an effing idiot and F you and all that stuff. And I'm just not... I don't love that, and so I want to create a really cool, a really great place where we can all talk about boxing, basically. And so I've made this Discord server. I've set it up. I'm gonna have a couple of different chat sections on there, some for predictions, some for general news conversations. And it just means that even when I'm not making videos, it just means that we can continue the conversation. So I put a link in the description for that. So get over there and sign up on Discord. And I'll definitely put a few things out over there before the fight. It means you will get a chance. I'll put polls there. It means you will get a chance to vote on the outcome of this fight. So please go and join the Discord server. The second thing is, I've been talking about this a bit, but if you guys are planning on buying the fight, all I ask is that you do it through my link in the description on DAZN. It just means that I get a percentage share of the revenue. It's not much, but if a few of you do it, then, or a few hundred of you would decided to do it, then that's actually decent money for me, and it just helps to support my channel. So if you could do that small thing for me, I'd really appreciate that. Finally, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as ever. And I really mean that. Please do like the videos if you're enjoying them. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. And please do get in the comments section below and let me know who you think is going to win this fight. Also, just to say quickly, guys, I will be doing a live stream for this one. I've made a scoreboard. It looks pretty cool. So please join me for that. It'd be nice to have as many of you there as possible. Try and get a lot of good people in the chat. Get it going on the day. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good fun. So I'm looking forward to that very much. Which brings us into the video. Who is going to win this fight? It's final prediction time. And I have really, really struggled to make this prediction. You know, when I first set off on my sort of pre-Beterbiev Bivol journey, when I make my game form analysis videos, for example, I'm not ready to make any kind of technical analysis without watching a lot of footage first. And I literally go and I watch these fights on like 0.5 speed so I can actually spot things, tendencies, little movements, anything that I think will be relevant. And then you try and see if that then is a pattern. And at full speed, it can be quite difficult to do it. If other people can do it at full speed, fair play to them. I have to slow it down. But anyway, my point is, when I first went into this, I was pretty confident of a Bivol victory. You know, I was really thinking, you know, I think Bivol's going to win this on points. I think it's pretty clear. But then watching it, doing my studies more and more, I'm now leaning towards Beterbiev. And so I'm now here at the end of fight week, and I've got to make a call one way or the other. So let me take you through this. I'm going to try and make a specific pick at the end. I always try and make quite a specific prediction. And, you know, I always say this is an educated guess. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just saying this is my thought process. This is what I've been through, and this is where I've ended up. So let me get into this for you. So the first thing we have to think about is there anywhere we can split them? So let's try and cover off all the key areas. So psychology, you know, I did the reaction to the face-off video, and honestly, you watch that and you just cannot split them from a mental standpoint. If there is anything there bubbling under the surface, they both did a really good job of keeping a lid on it, of not letting us know that that was the case. I've seen Ade speculating that he believes there is a big brother, little brother dynamic, that something happened when they sparred back in the day, but neither of them want to actually talk about it out of respect. Might be possible, but I don't think either man has shown any mental fragilities in previous fights. They've gone in there and they've done business. So I'm going to assume it's going to be exactly the same here. Both men is going to get in the ring. They're going to do their business. So in terms of psychology going into the fight, I think they'll both be absolutely on point and be perfect. The only thing that might be a factor is that Beterbiev has fought boxers his whole life. And in the pros, he's fought more punches, I would say, for sure. But he did have that Gvozdyk fight, which is the one I studied because I felt it was quite relevant. Gvozdyk himself is a puncher, by the way. And that's actually something I should mention right now. Someone actually called me out in the comments in that video for saying Gvozdyk wasn't that much of a puncher. And I put my hands up. I got that very wrong. You know, when I said that, what I meant was that Beterbiev is more of a puncher than Gvozdyk is. But it came out in a way where I basically said I thought he was a similar puncher to Bivol. I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was words to the effect of he's not that much of a puncher. In reality, Gvozdyk has got good power. I actually completely forgot about the Adonis Stevenson stuff as well. So Gvozdyk can definitely bang. And we saw what Beterbiev did with him. regardless, Beterbiev had a very good amateur career. He knows how to close down boxers. He knows how to do that. I'm wondering a bit more if I look at Bivol's record in the pros, and he's not really been in there with anybody who is a significant puncher at his weight. Canelo obviously came up a number of weights. He didn't really have the feet to bother him, in my opinion. So maybe a small thing there to consider. But the records, very even. Again, both undefeated fighters. Both have 100% winning records. Beterbiev obviously has 100% KO ratio. Bivol's is quite a bit lower, but that talks to the stars of the two men and what they're both really good at. So they're both undefeated. They both have perfect records. They both have fairly deep resumes. I think Beterbiev's body of work is slightly better than Bivol's, but it's not a substantial amount, I wouldn't say. Technically speaking, this is where it gets difficult, and they're so different. And they're both, what can we say? They're both masters of what they do. Bivol is a master of that box and move style, that Soviet style, the pendulum step, the constant jabbing. Defensively so alert, and he very rarely makes mistakes. And you know, when you deal with men at that size, it's hard to match his fleet of foot. It's hard to keep up the pace that he sets. So I think that Beterbiev is perfect. Sorry, Bivol is amazing at what he does. Beterbiev likewise. The guy is an absolute wrecking ball. He's a machine, but there's a lot of nuance to what he does. You know, there really is. If he was simply just a power puncher, it wouldn't mean a lot. There's plenty of power punchers out there. Look at Callum Johnson. You know, he was a good fighter. And that was one of the times that we saw Beterbiev get knocked down. So we know that Beterbiev can be hurt. But I don't think that Bivol has anything like the punching power Callum Johnson had. I think Callum Johnson's power was actually very underrated. So technically they're extremely different and as good as each other, but just in such opposite ways. So the question is, you know, who can implement their style on the other? Who is the fighter that can go in there and which style will out? So that's I mean, that is what it comes down to, really. But there's a couple more things to think about. Injuries is a big one. And I've said this before, but what I really, really hate is when physical deterioration is a leveler. And, you know, the classic example of this right now, the stereotypical example of this right now is Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. In no world can Jake Paul live with Mike Tyson. How much has Mike physically deteriorated? That's why that fight is appalling to me. But at a much, much lesser level, it's Beterbiev's injury record. He's been getting quite a lot of injuries of late, including coming into this one. This fight was postponed and rescheduled because of a torn meniscus, which is a very, very serious injury. And we have to ask the question, you know, he's 39. Can he still do it? Are his best days behind him? I mean, they probably are, but the question is, has he slid much, or is he the same? And we've not seen anything in the ring to think that he's slipped. So I'm going to try and make this call under the assumption that he is going to be 100% fit because, you know, I'm completely guessing otherwise. You know, I'm guessing at what Beterbiev gets in the ring. If you told me it's this percentage of Beterbiev that's getting in the ring, then I can consider that, but I just can't. I have to assume it's going to be full Beterbiev. So that's the factor. There was also some stuff that Bivol's partner put out, ex-partner I should say, about his injury record. So we know he's had problems too, but I was speaking to my coach in the gym and he was saying to me they're just fairly standard boxing injuries. So I don't think there's anything to be read into those. And this brings us to prediction time, because I can't think of what else should be considered here. I think that's everything. I think that's everything we need to talk about. I think the only other question might be gas tank, but I think they both got great gas tanks. I remember watching that Beterbiev-Gvozdyk fight and seeing Beterbiev coming on stronger and stronger at the end. If anything, he grew into the fight. And we've seen the way that Bivol can move for 12 rounds. You know, he's done it regularly. So neither man, I don't think we have to worry about either man gassing. Well, based on historic performances, again, it's the question of the slippage in Beterbiev, but I really just hope that isn't going to play into this. I hope we get a really good Beterbiev on the night. So, as I say, time to predict, and this prediction has been so impossibly difficult to make because it is genuinely a 50-50, but I am going to make a prediction, and the boxer that I think is going to win this fight is Artur Beterbiev. That's who I'm going with. I think Artur Beterbiev's going to do it. And I mean, even saying it out loud, I have serious doubts. And as I said before, you know, going into this originally, I was predicting Bivol to win this. I think that Bivol was at the fore of my mind going into my original study because of I'd looked at him versus Canelo quite extensively for when Canelo fought Berlanga, and that performance was so good, it was sort of quite fresh in my head still. Beterbiev's only been boxing once a year. I'm not sure Bivol's been boxing much more than that, to be fair. But I think that injury was really, really influencing my decision-making, alongside the fact that I've always just had probably an appreciation for pure boxers, guys that are a bit more technical and a bit more fleet-footed. That's probably always been where my like for boxing style has lent. But I just don't think Beterbiev can be denied. If he gets in there and he's himself, I can't see how he doesn't get to Bivol. I think that seeing the way he walked Gvozdyk down, when Gvozdyk, I think, punches quite a lot harder than Bivol. I think Bivol's got good hands, fast hands. I think he punches relatively hard, but Beterbiev is like made of steel or something, and he's so strong to the body as well. And looking at the way he is able to close the gap, looking at the way he has got a great chin and that he has got a strong body, there'll be moments when he can't close that gap. And, you know, I think that we could definitely see Bivol running away with the fight on points. But when I think about it, when it's that close, when you look at two men and it's that close, you have to think about who's got the power. That's what I'm doing. I'm thinking, you know, if it's going to be, if they are going to be hitting each other a lot, if it is going to be a testing night's work, then I have to think that Beterbiev is going to get to him eventually and get to him enough that he slows him down to the point where he can't move the way he normally does. Plus, growing up in that Soviet system, he'll have been boxing this style for so long, Beterbiev. I would assume he knows very well what to do with it. So, although I don't doubt that Bivol's the best he's faced. But, honestly, I've made this prediction. I think Beterbiev, late stoppage. I think somewhere from rounds 9 to 12, Beterbiev's going to get the stoppage. But that doesn't mean that Bivol can't win this on points. In fact, I would not be shocked at all to see Bivol win this on points. I'd be shocked if Bivol stopped Beterbiev. That would really surprise me if he was able to get in there and do that. But, yeah, that's the pick. Beterbiev, late stoppage. I know a lot of people are picking that. When I look in the media, most people seem to be going for Bivol when I made that breakdown video. But the longer time goes on, the more people have actually seen picking Beterbiev also. But I think that, as well, when you think about will, when you think about the fact that they're both going to have equal will, they're both going to, there's no quit in either of them. And then when you think about that, I sort of think whose body's going to break first. And I think that Beterbiev breaks Bivol before Bivol breaks Beterbiev. And I just can't see how Beterbiev doesn't get to him, doesn't make this a war. I think that Bivol isn't going to be able to keep him off for 12 rounds. And I think that the thing is, it's the damage that Beterbiev does when he actually does get to you. That's the issue for Bivol. It's not like he's going to evade him for 80% of it, and the 20% that he actually can't do it is irrelevant. So that's what I think. I think Bivol's got to box a perfect fight. I think Beterbiev can afford to make a few mistakes, get hit a little bit. I still think he can get to him eventually. And what I will say is this: Bivol's never been knocked down in his career. He's never been hurt, which makes you doubt the pick a bit. But he's never been in there with someone like Beterbiev. So how good of a chin does Bivol have? We're not really sure. We've seen him get hit clean by Joe Smith. So he has got a decent chin, we know that. But we've never seen someone really put it on him. So that's my prediction. Beterbiev, late stoppage. As I say, guys, please use my link to buy the fight. Really helps support the channel. Get in the Discord. I'm excited to grow the community over there. I think that's a really exciting thing. And I just can't wait to continue the conversation with you guys outside of these videos. Let me know who you think is going to win this fight. Get in the comment section below. Are you going Beterbiev? Are you going Bivol? What's your method of victory? And I cannot wait for this fight. I will be doing a live stream for this one, guys. I have to get that in there. I'm planning on doing a live stream for the event. I've managed to make a scoreboard. It should be pretty cool. So please do join me for the live stream. And as I always say, on to the next one.